Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video over on Ark Survival Ascended. And in this video, I am going to show you my top 10 solo player mods. Now this is very specific to solo player because some of these would be broken in PvP scenarios and things like that. But I'm going to go ahead and show you my top 10. It's going to be in order of things that I have to have, being the number 1, and 10 being things that I almost always have. So like the most important thing to me will be the number 1, and number 10 will be the thing that I kind of usually add when I'm playing a solo player playthrough. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and exit to the main menu so I can actually show in and type you all these things. And a lot of these you probably won't have played before. I mean, some of them you have for sure, but some you haven't. So now, one of my favorite new mods is you can kind of, I haven't tried this one yet in all honesty, but the mining drill cross-platform. This one is a lot of fun to use. It's essentially just adds the mining drill from Ark Survival Evolved into the game, and it has a gas requirement. Basically, you can see unlimited power. It's a little bit overpowered, but it's not like it's super broken, because it's like when you're playing solo player, you want the resources, so you want to be able to gather everything and not have to switch and move and do this and do that and blah, 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 blah. So a lot of times I will just activate the mining drill. Not all the time, because it can be a little overpowered for solo player, but you know, when you're playing solo player, you're not really necessarily playing to grind resources, because though it can be calming, it's not always the greatest when you have to do all of the resources by yourself. So now, one that I almost always go with is the upgrade station. Now, if you've never played upgrade station, it is an amazing mod. So essentially what it is, it's just a workbench that you can use, and essentially you put a piece of equipment in there, and it allows you to upgrade that piece of equipment from primitive to ramshackle, and keep going up until you get to the highest level, right? Now, there are some cool things where you can get like double, and you can basically cap out your stuff. It is expensive, so like you will have to actually go farm the resources to upgrade the stuff. And it's like some towards the end are like stupid expensive, especially in solo player if you're playing by vanilla settings. So they can be really, really, really expensive, but it's nice to be able to not have to hit 600 drops, and you can kind of just get some of the better weapons and better things like that by yourself by just putting a little bit of effort in, instead of spending like 6 years trying to get lucky at a drop and get, you know, an Ascendant shotgun or an Ascendant sniper rifle or things like that. So upgrade station is something I almost always put in. Now, the next one on our list is a combination of mods. Now, Clifton's, if you haven't seen his, you can see he's got 3 pages. Now, usually what I will do is I will go through and add some things from Clifton's mods. Almost all of the mods this person makes are amazing. I would say that, in my opinion, it's some of the fun game changer mods. I will typically add in some form of firearms to it. So like, here we go. I was like, where's the ones I usually add? So like the Western firearms are a lot of fun. The modern firearms are fun. Some of the skins are kind of cool, but again, these are just skins, so keep that in mind. You can see that saddles are in there, is pretty neat. And then there's backpacks too. You can see this one's a lot of fun. Basically, lantern with INI settings, 3 weight reduction tiers, and scales with item quality. So basically, like, there's a lot of little mods in this section that'll be like, ooh, this is how I kind of want to play this time around, and that's kind of how I move into that. So I highly encourage you to do that. But some of the things like the cosmetics, you can see the vanilla firearms is a cool one. It just depends if you want to play more skin based or if you want to play more different weapon based. The Western is really, really cool. I do like it. It's a fun little playthrough item. Modern can be a little bit overpowered, I will admit that, but it's a very fun mod to play with, just to have some of those additional weapons and scopes and things like that in there. It can be a lot of fun, but I highly recommend you check out Clifton's mods. Now next, because this is probably one of the most frustrating things that happens in Ark. And why is it, I don't know if it's gonna be the top one. Where is it? I guess it doesn't necessarily matter which one you add, but it seems like this one's become more popular over time. I've always used the Dragon Claw Studios Death Recovery mod. Now you can do the Death Inventory Keeper, it looks like, or the Death Recovery. I will add, I just am comfortable with this one because I know it super well. It doesn't necessarily mean these two are bad. I've never used them. But you can see that it is something that basically just allows you to keep your inventory. So like, let's say you're in aberration and you're way, way, way away from your base, or you die in the radiation zone and you had a lot of stuff on you that you don't want to lose, and things in cryopods, blah, 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 blah. it basically allows you to keep all of that stuff. And if you're cheeky with it, it kind of serves as a teleportation system. So I would encourage you to use that as well. So a very useful thing to be able to use that death recovery mod. Just a fun little thing, especially if you're playing solo, that just changes the game. Now, you guys have heard me talk about the next mod a ton. This is probably, I don't know, it's up there for one of my favorite mods of all time. Now, I've talked about this one before, you know it, but Shiny Ascended. If you haven't tried out Shiny Ascended, I can't tell you enough that in your solo player game, just add it. I don't know how to say it any better than that. Essentially what it does, if you haven't seen it before, it's a mod that basically adds in random dinosaur spawns around the map at random locations. It'll ping it in the center of your screen, but those dinos won't just be regular dinos. They'll have really neat things. They might be a bunch of random colors. They might be on fire. They might be electrical. There's a bunch of really neat things, and it's almost like a Pokemon game where you can literally collect all of them. And that's a really cool concept, in my opinion, just to get some neat things that just shake up Ark, because I play solo player to shake up my normal experience in Ark. I don't want just a normal experience. I want to just mess around and have some fun. So when I see something spawn in that's how do I say this? When I see something spawn in that's unique, I make sure that I always go out of my way to try and tame it. Now, that could be any of these things. It's just fun. It really is. It just adds a lot of life to the game. And I'm not going to spoil all of it because there's a bunch of neat little things. You can see there's a ton of little feedbacks on this. But there's a lot that gets included with Shiny Dinos Ascended. So I really encourage you to check it out. Now we're getting to ones that I have to add. So the Shiny was one I always add, but these are requirements. If I'm playing solo, I'm adding these mods, these next basically 5 total mods. My 5th one that I have to add is always I am adding a very simple one, but a stacking mod. Me personally, I use the 10,000 minus 90% because I think it's stupid that I've got to go back and forth if I have too much weight. So I like to carry a ton of stuff and increase my weight of my character. So that way, well, I can just carry big stack sizes, because I hate when you like do a flint run, right? And it black boxes your character or slot caps, whatever you want to call it. And you've only got like 3,000 or 4,000, whatever it is, right? It's like 30,000, I think, or something like that. But still, with this, you can essentially get millions of resources and still do about the same time, just because it stacks a little bit better. So that's my personal opinion, but I would highly encourage you to use a stacking mod. TG's is one that I've always used. I know there are others, but TG's is kind of the one that I'm comfortable with. So I take that for what you will. Now, the next on my list is another combination, right? Paleoris, if you haven't used it, it is a amazing cryo mod. I know there's a few cryo mods out there. This one's just my favorite because some of the other ones are super cool, but they're really complex and take a little bit to learn. Paleoris is a really easy, really quick mod that you just don't really need to think about too much. It gives you cryopods. They give you information that you want to know, and it gives you a ability to kind of change things in an admin menu that's very simple. It's not super complex. And my favorite feature is if I lose a creature to some shenanigans, it allows me to respawn in that creature. Let's say I get teleported onto the map and just my favorite wyvern that I had that was perfect, you know, whatever you want to say, it just poofs. I can go into my backup and add that creature, that exact creature back, because it stores a backup of those creatures. So I highly encourage you to check that out. So, I mean, that's just one thing that I just really like. So there's Paleoris. Now, the next 3, always, even if I'm playing on a server, I'm not playing on a server if they don't have these 3 mods. So awesome spyglass, requirement to play Ark, in my opinion. It gives you a complete and total readout of all of the statistics, because when I tame dinos, I might see a level 150 and then it's got 5 health. And I'm like, dude, I don't want 5 health, whatever I'm looking for, right? So I'll look to get some stats in the 20s and 30s range if I'm taming something. And this spyglass makes it so I don't have to randomly get lucky. And I don't have to use the stupid binoculars too, because it's a cool concept, but it's not user-friendly in any way, shape, or form. So this one is very user-friendly. It gives highlights of the creatures around. It's just an amazing mod. It also lets you see what's inside of a drop, so you don't need to go get something all the time. You can look and see if it's good, and if it's not, just go right on past it, you know? So yeah, that's kind of my big thing on that one. So that's the awesome spyglass. Now these next 2, always. Now, I just can't type apparently. Wow. Okay, so Cybers, if you haven't seen Cyber Structure mod, it's probably, I think it's the #1 downloaded mod, and apparently I'm out of date. Of course I'm out of date. He updates it all the time. But yes, 12.7, so that was today. But basically it adds in a ton of structures, an absolute ton of structures that is super useful. And I don't know why it didn't let me load those pictures. It's nice to be able to show you guys. It just makes things so much easier, and things that make sense, right? Like the beehive makes the plants and flowers so they don't need water. The fridge is a stack and things like that. There is a miniature version of attack replicator and some propagate. These are amazing. They let you breed creatures without having them all over the place. Something where you just hit this and it auto sends all your resources to the right locations. These are mutators, and it's just like, here's a list of all the things it adds, right? A complete pull system, omni tool, multi-tool, charge injector, charge station, and limit carrot. It's just crazy how much stuff he adds, and it's just a bunch of structures that are incredibly useful that you have to use, including towards the end game stuff when it's like tech laboratory, stove, forge, cooking pot. These are all end game things, so it gives you something to strive towards a little bit, and it just makes solo player so much better, because having these things, especially even learning the systems, can be a fun little process. So highly encourage. I mean, even not just that, but a bunch of the other cyber mods. Cyber Angel is the one that makes it, and they make some really good mods, so check those out. Now, the last one, and probably the only mod that I will use no matter what, is the Solo Farm mod. If you haven't played with the Solo Farm mod, it basically lets you play the game solo and still get a decent amount of resources, so you don't have to cheat. What you do is you essentially place something on one of your creatures, and it gives you these 3 menus, and it lets you, they just continue to swing constantly. So you can, with an RG, have a Anki swinging all over the place, or whatever you can pick up with an RG. Same thing with the Karkanos, and they'll just continue to attack. Now, that makes it so you can essentially get a ton of resources without having to deal with the back and forth and only half and only this. And yes, I know they changed the Anki, but this essentially doubles, I mean, just constantly swings. So it just saves you a lot of time. So Solo Farm mod, amazing. Same thing with roll rats. You can pick up roll rats on Aberration, beavers, anything that can harvest you can pick up and use with this Solo Farm mod. It's super helpful, and it'll let you, like, inventory management as well. It'll only pick up the specific things that you want. If you only want metal, it'll only pick up metal and drop the rest of it. It's just an amazing mod. I highly encourage it. So anyways, those are my top 10 mods. And obviously I typed them all in so you can see them all. But anyways, if there's anything else you want to see, I know someone asked me to do some mods that are less well known. And maybe I'll work on that over the next week or so and push one of those up. If there's anything else you want to see, let me know in the comments below. And other than that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That'd be awesome. And teach out.